Her first love broke her heart until she met someone who truly cared. You won't believe how it all unfolds. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our latest movie recaps. The movie opens with a young and beautiful lady named Annabelle dressing up for an outing. Her roommate, Chioma, walks in and asks why she skipped lectures. Annabelle confidently tells her she's going to see her man. She misses him too much. Before leaving, she asks Chioma to compliment her look and steps out, leaving Chioma puzzled. Later that day, Annabelle is at her boyfriend Kunle's house. They become intimate, but when Annabelle insists on using protection, Kunle tells her not to spoil the moment. She hesitates, but eventually gives in. The next morning, Annabelle serves Kunle breakfast. Then, she gets a call from Chioma reminding her about a surprise test at 2 p.m. Shocked, she rushes off to school after giving Kunle a quick kiss. When Annabelle arrives at the hostel, Chioma is already getting ready for class. Annabelle begs her to wait, but Chioma refuses and heads out. The next day, Annabelle is on the phone with Kunle, telling him how much she misses him. Meanwhile, Chioma, who's trying to study, keeps glancing at her. After the call, Annabelle jokes that Chioma needs to bag herself a man. Chioma stays silent. But is Annabelle making the right choices? Skipping school for a guy? Is Kunle really worth it? The shocker comes the next day. Kunle welcomes another lady named Sonia into his house. Wait, what? Is Kunle cheating on Annabelle? He takes Sonia upstairs, and after their intimate moment, Sonia tells Kunle about an expensive designer bag she wants. Kunle promises to buy it, and they continue their romance. Later, Kunle's friend visits and is shocked to learn that Kunle is dating 2 women at once, neither of whom knows about the other. They laugh about it like it's a joke. Weeks later, Annabelle is seen lying in bed, trembling. Chioma asks what's wrong, and Annabelle says she thinks it's because she misses Kunle. But Chioma suspects something else: pregnancy. Chioma advises her to get a pregnancy test instead of taking random drugs. A few hours later, Annabelle shows her the result. It's positive. They're both stunned. A few days later, Annabelle visits Kunle to tell him she's pregnant. At first, Kunle laughs it off, thinking it's a joke. But when Annabelle insists, he starts an argument and walks away, overwhelmed. Later that same day, Sonia also visits Kunle. With her own news, she's pregnant too. Kunle is shocked. 2 women, 2 babies at the same time? Back at the hostel, Chioma asks Annabelle what Kunle said. Annabelle replies that he asked for some time to think, but she's confident Kunle will do the right thing. Chioma looks at her like she's making the biggest mistake of her life. Chioma asks Annabelle if she's really ready for marriage and motherhood. Annabelle seems unsure, but convinces herself Kunle will support her and the baby while she continues school. Kunle later confides in his friend about the mess he's in. His friend laughs but asks him who he'll choose between the 2 women. Kunle doesn't answer. The next day, Kunle tells Annabelle to terminate the pregnancy. She is shocked and heartbroken, refusing immediately. Kunle coldly tells her she's on her own if she keeps the baby. When she tries to appeal to his love, he explodes in anger and kicks her out of his car. That same day, Kunle takes Sonia out to a fancy restaurant and proposes to her. She happily accepts. Meanwhile, Annabelle returns home, devastated. She sobs uncontrollably while Chioma scolds her for getting involved with a man like Kunle. Chioma curses him, but Annabelle begs her to stop insulting the father of her unborn child. The next day, Annabelle tries calling Kunle again, but he doesn't answer. Chioma walks in and demands to know who she's calling. When Annabelle says it's Kunle, Chioma angrily tells her to stop defending him. Still holding on to hope, Annabelle asks Chioma if she should go see Kunle. Fed up, Chioma tells her to go and not involve her anymore. The next day, Annabelle shows up at Kunle's house, but the gate man refuses to let her in. Kunle is inside and hears the commotion, but pretends not to. Sonia, curious, asks what's going on. Kunle lies and takes her upstairs. What will happen to Annabelle? Will she rise from this heartbreak or fall deeper into regret? That night, Annabelle cried out loud in prayer, begging God to bring Kunle back into her life. Her loud prayers were disturbing Chioma's peaceful sleep. Months passed, and Annabelle was still praying daily for Kunle's return. Frustrated and sleep-deprived, Chioma finally told her to stop. It was affecting her rest. The next day, Annabelle went to see Kunle, but was shocked to find another woman, heavily pregnant, sitting in his car. Kunle saw Annabelle and immediately denied knowing her, entered his car, and drove away, leaving her speechless and broken. Later that day, Annabelle returned home in tears, telling Chioma what had happened. While Chioma was comforting her, Annabelle suddenly went into labor. 2 years later, Annabelle is now working as a housemaid in Mrs. Agnes's home. She arrives late for work and tries to sneak past her boss, but Mrs. Agnes catches her and angrily demands an explanation. Annabelle tries to explain, but Mrs. Agnes isn't having it. She warns her that if she's ever late again, she'll be fired. Annabelle apologizes and quietly gets to work. She changes into her uniform, cleans the kitchen, and moves on to clean Mrs. Agnes's bedroom. Once she's done, she informs her boss that she's leaving for the day. Later at home, Chioma is feeding Mercy, Annabelle's now 2-year-old daughter. Annabelle thanks her for looking after the child, and the two friends share a warm chat. The next day, Kunle returns home from work and is greeted by Sonia, now his wife. He asks about their child, and Sonia tells him the baby is asleep. They head upstairs together. A few days later, Chioma returns from a job interview, clearly frustrated. She tells Annabelle she's tired of searching for work. Annabelle encourages her not to give up and tells her she's made food for her. Chioma cheers up instantly. The next day, Annabelle arrives late to work again. Mrs. Agnes is angry and doesn't want to hear excuses. She informs Annabelle that her son is returning from abroad and wants the house spotless. Later that day, Desmond, Mrs. Agnes's son, returns home. Annabelle helps carry his luggage, but one falls. Mrs. Agnes lashes out at Annabelle, yelling and even hitting her. Desmond, shocked, scolds his mother for treating Annabelle so harshly. He thought she was working on her anger issues. Mrs. Agnes deflects the blame, saying Annabelle stresses her out. They head inside. Annabelle carries the bags to Desmond's room, and Desmond is clearly happy to be back. That evening, during dinner, Annabelle pours Desmond a glass of water, but accidentally spills some on him. Mrs. Agnes slaps Annabelle in anger, even as she apologizes. Mrs. Agnes yells at her to get out of their sight. The next morning, Annabelle is cleaning the living room when Desmond comes downstairs. She greets him with, "Good morning, sir," but Desmond gently tells her to just call him Desmond, with the "sir." The following day, Chioma bursts into the house with exciting news. She got a well-paying job. Annabelle is thrilled, until Chioma says the job requires relocating to Abuja, and she won't be able to help with Mercy anymore. Annabelle assures her she'll find a way to manage. They hug, and Chioma promises to send for her once she's settled. Meanwhile, Kunle is driving and chatting with a friend, complaining that he's never seen the guy's girlfriend. They laugh and tease each other. A week later, Annabelle resumes work, but this time, she brings Mercy with her. Mrs. Agnes is surprised and questions her. Annabelle explains that she has no one else to care for the child since Chioma moved. Mrs. Agnes reluctantly agrees to let her bring the child, and Annabelle is grateful. Later that day, while doing the dishes, Desmond walks into the kitchen and sees Annabelle with Mercy tied on her back. She tells him it's her daughter. Desmond plays with the little girl for a while and smiles before leaving. The next morning, Annabelle is tiptoeing in late again, only to bump into Desmond. She tells him she's worried about his mother finding out. Desmond asks how far she lives, and Annabelle replies that it takes her 3 hours to get to work. Desmond is shocked. Later, Desmond speaks to his mother, asking her to give Annabelle a room in the house since she travels such a long distance. But Mrs. Agnes, being her usual self, refuses. Instead, she urges Desmond to focus on finding a wife who will give her grandchildren. Desmond is stunned by her response. That same day, Annabelle is cleaning Desmond's room when he asks if she would let him look after Mercy while she works. At first, she's unsure, but eventually agrees. Later, Annabelle finds Desmond in the living room, spending time with Mercy. She smiles quietly and walks away. The next day, while working in the kitchen, Desmond surprises Annabelle with a gift box filled with toys for Mercy. She gratefully thanks him. That same day, Mrs. Agnes walks in and is shocked to see Desmond feeding Annabelle's daughter. When she questions him, Desmond tells her calmly that he's just helping while Annabelle works. It's no big deal. Mrs. Agnes is furious and storms off. After finishing her work, Annabelle thanks Desmond again. He asks her to sit. Nervous, she hesitates but finally sits. Desmond asks about Mercy's father. With tears in her eyes, Annabelle tells him how she was abandoned while pregnant. Reliving the pain, she breaks down and quietly leaves. Desmond feels deeply for her. The next morning, Annabelle enters Desmond's room to clean. As he steps out of the bathroom shirtless, she quickly turns away. Desmond quietly gets dressed and leaves the room so she can work in peace. Later that day, while Annabelle is preparing food, Desmond walks into the kitchen and offers to help. She agrees, and they begin working together. Soon, they're seen playing card games together, laughing and enjoying each other's company. But Mrs. Agnes watches from afar, clearly unhappy about their growing closeness. The next day, Mrs. Agnes enters Desmond's room and asks where he's going. He replies that he's taking Annabelle to the market to buy foodstuffs. Offended, Mrs. Agnes demands to know why Annabelle can't go alone. Desmond calmly explains he offered to take her. Mrs. Agnes snaps, saying she doesn't like how close he's becoming to Annabelle. But Desmond ignores her emotional manipulation and walks out. Some days later, Desmond is in the kitchen helping Annabelle. They laugh and sing while cooking, enjoying the moment. From the hallway, Mrs. Agnes watches, fuming with anger. What do you think is about to happen? Will Desmond go against his mother's wishes? Is love quietly blooming between Annabelle and Desmond? Stay tuned for the next episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Meanwhile, Sonia is seen wrapped in the arms of Kunle's best friend. Wait, what? Sonia is cheating on Kunle with his own friend? Just then, a knock on the door interrupts their moment. Knowing it could be Kunle, they quickly compose themselves. When Kunle walks in, he's surprised to see his friend. The friend lies and says he came to see Kunle and was just about to leave. Sonia takes Kunle's bag upstairs while the two men sit and chat, tension quietly boiling beneath the surface. The next day, things go from bad to worse for Annabelle. Mrs. Agnes falsely accuses her of stealing money. Shocked, Annabelle insists she didn't do it. Mrs. Agnes slaps her. Desmond rushes in and tries to intervene as Annabelle continues to plead her innocence. Knowing his mother's manipulative ways, Desmond confronts her in her room, demanding to know why she would make such a false accusation. But Mrs. Agnes, defensive, accuses him of taking Annabelle's side. Frustrated by her refusal to tell the truth, Desmond walks out in anger. The next morning, Annabelle returns to work, but Mrs. Agnes is still accusing her, and this time, she fires her. Annabelle kneels down to beg, but Mrs. Agnes threatens to call the police if she doesn't leave. Heartbroken and humiliated, Annabelle quietly walks away. Later that day, Desmond returns and asks about Annabelle. Mrs. Agnes coldly tells him that Annabelle no longer works there. Desmond is upset and reminds his mother that Annabelle didn't steal anything. He walks away, disappointed. That evening, Mrs. Agnes sets the table for dinner and calls Desmond to eat. He looks at her, says nothing, and walks straight to his room, leaving her confused and guilty. That same day, Kunle walks in on Sonia in bed with his friend. Completely shocked, he demands an explanation. The truth comes out. Sonia had been dating Kunle's friend even before their marriage, and the child isn't even Kunle's. Kunle, devastated and heartbroken, collapses into tears and despair. Is this karma at work? You decide. Days later, Mrs. Agnes tries calling Desmond, worried since she hasn't seen him in days. Moments later, Desmond walks in. She runs to hug him, relieved, but he stops her and coldly says, "I'm not a child. Don't worry about me," and heads upstairs. Meanwhile, Kunle drowns himself in alcohol and regret, haunted by the betrayal of both his wife and best friend. Back in his room, Desmond begins packing his bags. Mrs. Agnes enters and asks why. He tells her he's checking into a hotel, and from there, flying to the United States. Panicked, Mrs. Agnes begs him to stay. In that moment, she admits that Annabelle never stole anything. Desmond is disappointed in her and lays out his conditions. 1, she must apologize to Annabelle. 2, she must rehire her with double the salary. 3, Annabelle must now be treated with respect. And 4, Annabelle must be allowed to live in the house as a live-in maid. Mrs. Agnes complains that it's too much to ask, but Desmond calmly says, "If you won't do it, I'll leave this house forever." Cornered, she finally agrees. The next day, Annabelle returns and Mrs. Agnes humbly apologizes to her. She tells Annabelle that she will be living with them now, and her salary has been doubled. Grateful, Annabelle kneels in thanks, but Mrs. Agnes gently tells her to stand. Later that day, Desmond welcomes Annabelle back and apologizes for everything she's been through. He tells her he missed her, and blushing, Annabelle admits that she missed him too. That evening, Mrs. Agnes asks Annabelle to help with cleaning and volunteers to take care of Mercy while she works. Annabelle is grateful. A few days later, Kunle is still drowning in sorrow, talking with his friend Tayo about how betrayed he feels after what Alex, his best friend, did to him. Meanwhile, Annabelle is cleaning the living room when Desmond walks in with a gift for her, but she refuses to accept it. Watching silently, Mrs. Agnes notices the exchange. Desmond feels hurt. Later, Mrs. Agnes visits Annabelle in the kitchen. Out of curiosity and perhaps guilt, she asks Annabelle about Mercy's father. Annabelle opens up, explaining that he abandoned her after she got pregnant. Moved, Mrs. Agnes shares her own story, how she too was abandoned by her husband. In that moment of connection, Mrs. Agnes encourages Annabelle to open her heart again, telling her that life is too short not to experience love. Annabelle, touched by her words, thanks her sincerely. The next day, Kunle is chatting with Tayo again, when Tayo casually mentions that he's seen Annabelle in his estate with a baby. Kunle is shocked. He begs Tayo to take him to where he's seen her, memories of their past rushing back. Later that day, Kunle and Tayo drive around the estate, looking for her. Just as they're about to give up, they see Annabelle taking out the trash. Kunle jumps out of the car and rushes to her. Annabelle is stunned to see him. She asks, "How did you find me?" Kunle drops to his knees, apologizing profusely. With tears in her eyes, Annabelle tells him that she truly loved him, but he took her love for granted. Then she turns and walks away. A few days later, Desmond and his mother are having dinner when they hear a commotion outside. Annabelle runs in and tells them, "That's Kunle, Mercy's father. I don't know how he found out where I work, but he's been stalking me." Furious, Desmond prepares to confront Kunle, but Mrs. Agnes stops him and says, "She'll handle it." She steps outside and sees Kunle acting erratically. She calmly tells the gateman to let him in. Kunle storms in, shouting that he wants to see his daughter and won't leave until he does. To scare him, Mrs. Agnes pretends to call estate security. Kunle panics and quickly leaves. The next day, Annabelle walks into Desmond's room with a glass of juice. She sits and tells him something important. She wants to go back to school to continue her education. Desmond smiles and assures her that he'll support her in every way possible. She thanks him, touched, and walks out. So guys, if you enjoyed this incredible story of love, betrayal, forgiveness, and second chances, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and turn on notifications for more powerful movie recaps.